Flag bearer of MPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, dragged to court, accused of impersonation by former Supreme Court judge. Tonight, we bring you details of court documents, cataloging evidence to prove that Nana was never certified to practice as a lawyer in Ghana.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services, your success, our passion, Belacqua Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water. It's also brought to you by Lifebuoy, still 100% better germ protection, and Blue Rose Limited, shelter for all. It was previously rumored and alleged. Now it has become a subject of an impending legal battle. MPP flag bearer in the 2012 elections, Nana Akufo-Addo, has just been dragged to an Accra High Court accused of impersonation. Former Supreme Court Judge Justice Kpega is suing the MPP flag bearer for holding himself out as a lawyer when evidence available to him from sources such as the General Legal Counsel proves otherwise. The writ also indicts former President Kufuor for appointing Nana Akufo-Addo as Attorney General, who doubled as a leader of the Bar Association. We have secured a copy of the writ, and my colleague Francis Aban joins me in the studio with details. Thank you very much, Francis. So, what evidence is Justice Kpega claiming to have as captured in this writ?
Well, Justice Kpega is explaining in the writ of summons here that he became suspicious of Nana Akufo-Addo because his name was not on the roll of lawyers in Ghana, and yet he was being given audience in the court. He said when he caused a discreet investigation to be conducted, it was revealed that Nana Akufo-Addo was never called to the Ghana bar, but rather one W.E.D. Akufo-Addo, who was called to the Middle Temple in the United Kingdom on the 22nd of July 1971 and on the roll of lawyers in Ghana as number 1190. It continues in the writ of summons that Nana Akufo-Addo never signed a matriculation book at the law school, which is evidence of enrollment in an institution. He further explains that Nana Akufo-Addo is not known to have ever changed his name, and that he has not been installed anywhere in Ghana within the meaning of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana and the Chieftaincy Act. He also explained that he is impersonating W.A.D. Akufo-Addo, who is on the roll of lawyers as number 1190 in the writ of summons. He further explains also that the Board of Legal Education established under Act 38 mandates that a person who attends the Ghana School of Law and is called to the bar by a particular name must use that same name in practice. These are some of the claims that he's making.
He also digs into Akufo-Addo's educational background.
Yes. In the writ here, he says that Nana Akufo-Addo claims to have obtained his early education at Government Boys School and later Kimbu before proceeding to the United Kingdom to read for his O-level and A-level certificates. And that he says, Nana Akufo-Addo implies that he obtained his O-level and A-level certificates in the United Kingdom. When he returned to Ghana, he claims to have taught at Accra Academy before proceeding to the University of Ghana, where he studied economics. Now, he says Nana Akufo-Addo returned to the United Kingdom to read law and was called to the English Bar Middle Temple in the same year as number 1190 of W.E.D. Akufo-Addo on the roll of lawyers in Ghana.
This is the same person he's claiming that he impersonated.
Yes. It further explains that his father, that is Nana Akufo-Addo's father, Edward Akufo-Addo, was also a member of the English Temple, of the English Bar and the Middle Temple, and he avers that Nana Akufo-Addo never took advantage of the provisions of the General Legal Counsel Act, which enabled people like Mr. R.J.A. Stanley Harvey, QC of Gray's Inn, who was called to the English Bar in 1947, but was specifically called to the Ghana Bar in 1972 to enable him practice in Ghana.
Essentially, his point is that he was never called to the bar formally here in Ghana and therefore cannot practice.
Yes.
Let's look at the reliefs he's seeking in court. What are these reliefs?
Just to run it through as it is in the writ of summons, he says he is calling for a declaration that on a true and proper interpretation of the General Legal Counsel Act 38 of 1960 as amended, unless a person is called to the bar in Ghana and his name entered in the roll of lawyers by the body mandated under the said Act 38 to regulate the training and certification of persons after a prescribed course of study that person cannot be deemed competent to practice law in any court of Ghana. He's further asking that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's name is not on the latest edition of the Roll of Lawyers in Ghana, and that he's not entitled to practice law in Ghana. He says that the law firm established as Akufo-Addo Prempeh and Co. at 67 Kojo Thompson Road at Abraka, Accra is an illegal law firm and therefore not competent to represent any party in litigation before any court in Ghana. He says a perpetual injunction restraining the said Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo from holding himself out as a lawyer competent to practice in the Ghanaian court or anybody regarding him as such. Now, the sixth relief he's seeking is that an order directed at the said Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who really is the most senior of dominant partner in the said law firm, to close down the said law chambers immediately and a receiver manager appointed by the Honorable Court, that's a High Court.
Thank you very much, Francis, for those details. We can speak to a lawyer who worked very closely with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Indeed, he still works at that chamber that is in question right now in this particular writ filed by Justice Kwega. Mr. Kwame Akufo, thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Top Story. What do you make of the details we just provided as captured in this writ filed by Justice Kwega?
First and foremost, let me say this to you. I heard you initially speaking about some allegations which you call evidence. Those matters that are stated in the statement of claim remain mere allegations and are no pieces of evidence. Now, secondly, let me move on to the main substance. We have not been served with the writ, and therefore I cannot speak to the writ. Safe to say that we are confident that Akufo-Addo was called to the English bar in 1971 and subsequently called to the Ghana bar in 1975. The gentleman has distinguished himself from that day onwards, indeed, rising to be leader of the bar and has appeared before Justice Kwega himself on numerous occasions. We believe that this writ has been filed in extreme bad faith and is being filed because of the present pending case in the Supreme Court that has been initiated by this law office and the case against the validity of President Mahama's election. This particular writ is completely shown. It's in bad faith, it's crippled, and in the day when the evidence is taken, all and sundry will know that the officials of Justice Kwega are politically biased and completely based with malice. There's nothing much more substantive to this writ.
Will it surprise you then, if indeed, from what he says, that he checked, could not find Nana Addo's name on the roll of lawyers?
We don't expect Justice Kwega to find anything good in Akufo-Addo, so we are not surprised if he says so. We expect him only to proceed on this bad faith conduct of his that he's exhibited towards the gentleman in the past and continues to do so. We are not surprised. We will not be surprised if he doesn't see anything good in Akufo-Addo. Indeed, we don't expect him to do so.
He says he's checked from 1877 to February 1997, the roll of lawyers, did not find a name that goes Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, but found another one that he claimed Nana Addo is impersonating.
All and sundry in this country know that Nana Akufo-Addo is also known as William Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So everybody knows that the gentleman also has a name which is William. There is no impersonation in this matter. The gentleman has distinguished himself, and as I continue reiterating the point, we do not expect Justice Kwega, former Justice of the Supreme Court, to see anything worthy and meritorious in Akufo-Addo. Indeed, the skies will fall down if it so happens that Justice Kwega found anything useful in Akufo-Addo. The skies will fall down, mark my word, Evans. We don't expect him to see anything worthy. But for the rest of the ordinary citizens in this republic, and other lawyers who are also learned and other judges in this republic, all of us know that Akufo-Addo is indeed a lawyer. It's amazing that after service to this nation, and after so many years as a distinguished lawyer, it is only Justice Kwega out of the thousands of lawyers in this republic, or former lawyers or a judge, who has come up with this bogus and sensational allegation.
Okay, you've said you've not been served. If you are served, how much weight are you going to give to this?
These are serious allegations made against a perfect and distinguished person. We shall respond appropriately to them in accordance with the rules of court.
Thank you very much. Kwame Akufo is a lawyer at the same chambers that is in question right now, cited in this particular rate. I have it in my hands, put forward by a former Supreme Court judge, Justice Kwega, who is indeed accusing Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo of impersonation. Now, we can speak now to one person who understands the legal framework for qualifying as a lawyer in Ghana, none other than the president of the Greater Accra branch of the Bar Association, Frank Davis. Thank you, sir, for your time. You've seen this writ? Hello, Mr. Davis.
Hello, Evans. Hello, Evans.
Have you by any chance seen this writ?
I haven't seen it, but I've been showed a copy otherwise.
What do
by
you make
another
of the
court.
contents?
So I've seen it.
What do you make of the
Well,
contents and the accusations in there?
Well, I don't know what the plaintiff wants in that case, but I mean, it's even laughable, you know. I mean, who can, for what other reason would someone say that Nana Akufo-Addo has not been called to the Ghana bar, or for that matter, he's not a lawyer in good standing and cannot practice in our courts? I mean, I think we should elevate the political discourse to another level. I mean, this is a bit childish.
This is a former Supreme Court.
Oh, please! I mean, with the greatest of respect
Judge
to
you're
Justice
talking
Pega,
about here.
with the greatest of all respect to Justice Pega, he was a distinguished member of the Supreme Court bench, but a man who was called to the English bar. He was indeed called to the Middle Temple in 1971. He was called to the Ghana bar in 1975. He has his name recorded in the roll of lawyers in Ghana.
He says he
The
can't
man
find
has
that
been
name
in-
in there. He can't
What?
find that name from 1877 to 1997. He didn't find the name there.
Maybe there's a defect in sight. I mean, he is the only one who presumes not to have found that it could be a defect in sight. But this is someone who has been president of the bar, of the Greater Accra Bar. Do you know what that means? I mean, do you exactly know what that means? That somebody who contests elections and he becomes the leader of the Accra Bar. And a man who elevated himself to the platform to the extent that he was going to be president of the National Bar. And for some reasons, he had to step down for Mr. Sambuku Jeto to be president of the Ghana Bar. And this is someone whom we are being told is not a lawyer. Have you heard of the celebrated case of Tufu and Attorney General?
Tell me about it.
Or maybe you should read the law books and many other more. Read the law reports and many other more. You see, this attempt to tarnish people's image. I mean, I think you see, I am speaking in my capacity as president of the Greater Accra Bar, and I think this does not do good for our profession. We should do things in a very smooth and decent manner. How can anybody say that Nana Akufo-Addo is not qualified to practice and cannot set up law offices? I mean, is this the level we are elevating the legal battle?
I'm astounded at your reaction, because this is a person who claims to be one time the chairman of the same General Legal Council. The evidence he says he has is from the General Legal Council, and it doesn't have a name that goes like another Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
If he was chairman of the General Legal Council and he did not cite Nana Akufo-Addo's name, Nana Akufo-Addo used to practice before him. Nana Akufo-Addo used to practice before him in the Supreme Court.
General oversight.
And he used to glorify he used to glorify his legal prowess.
Let me ask then.
And refer to him as a distinguished lawyer.
Let me ask then. These are serious allegations. Obviously, we've heard from another Dankwa
But
Akufo-Addo's
these are
own.
not serious allegations, Evans. Let me tell you, these are pedestrian allegations. These
I
are
see.
pedestrian allegations. They are not serious allegations.
Well, I'm quoting that from what I heard from the Nanado's own chambers, mentioned in this writ, and it's in question. Kwame Akufo, who is from that chamber, described the serious allegations, and they will deal with it with all the seriousness it
these are
deserves.
pedestrian allegations. Kwame Akufo can describe them as serious allegations, but to me, these are pedestrian.
Actually wanted to ask, though, that if this comes, the General Legal Council should have an interest in this. Is this something that you want to pay attention to? Hello, Mr. Davis. Hello, Mr. Davis. Okay, the line just dropped there.
I don't want to comment, Evans. I don't want to comment on matters affecting the General Legal Council because you know my relationship with the council. So I don't talk about issues about the council on radio. So if you want to know my comments on that, I think we should be fair to each other. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll grant that. That's
Thank you very much.
Frank Davis. He is the president of the Greater Accra Bar Association. Obviously, we've not heard the last of this because a number of people want to react to this particular story as it unfolds, and you want to stay with us. In 15 minutes on Newsnight, we'll bring you the other angles to this particular story, try and get the perspective of the General Legal Counsel to this particular unfolding story. Also try and speak to Justice Berger himself. We understand he has a statement on the back of this particular raid that we will share with you if you join us on radio on Newsnight in 15 minutes. My name is Evans Mensah. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services. Your success, our passion. Belacra Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water. It's also brought to you by Lifebuoy, still 100% better gen protection, as well as Blue Rose Limited, shelter for all.